Welcome. We are starting here a sort of open discussion. So, the matter is something like that. I will put forward some questions. In this video only, I'm going to ask you certain questions. You have to think over that questions and try to give answer yourself only. If you want, you can put your answer in the comment box. This is the process of something open thinking. Say what I want to encourage here, that is the open thinking process. That means whatever is given in book, we have to accept, yes, it's true. And we are following, or we are thinking over it, and we are making our own conclusion. So whatever data here I am giving you, that is from book only. But I want that you should think over it. So this is the main key factor of our this discussion. So I am giving some name here like open discussion on the topic. Now we are discussing about geography, where we are discussing about certain facts in about greenhouse effect, global warming, and plant growth. Three topics I want to combine together. First, I am giving you some information. Based on that information, you have to draw your conclusion. And that you have to keep yourself, or if you want, you can put here in the comment box that these are my conclusion. So, first you are aware of greenhouse effect, because whenever we are talking about environmental science, you are aware of that environmental science part, that always going to start with greenhouse effect, global warming, and ultimate thing is that whatever the coastal areas are there, they can be submerged under water. So I want to ask certain questions. No doubt, I'm not saying that I am the perfect, or I want to be perfect, but I want to initiate some thinking process. So we are discussing about these facts. While discussing, we are getting knowledge also. So first point, we are going to discuss what is greenhouse effect. The first thing, greenhouse effect is a fact. Because of that, temperature of earth remains in average part. Let me clarify. Daytime temperature, wherever you are staying, in that city, find out your daytime temperature and nighttime temperature. You are aware that maximum and minimum temperature of that city, that is given in news, and now because of these websites and whatever the weather forecasting apps, we are getting your daily temperature. You will find that maximum temperature and minimum temperature. Minimum temperature is usually recorded at dawn or after midnight. That temperature is reported. So you can check out that temperature, that is maximum and minimum temperature. Say for example, I am from Mumbai. I am aware that in Mumbai during summer season, strong summer in month of May, or generally 1st and 2nd June, in that period we are getting maximum temperature in range of 36 degrees Celsius. Sometime, very rare time, it exceeds till 40, but that is very rare. Usually we are getting temperature in range of 36 to 38, that is maximum temperature, whereas minimum temperature during summer is going somewhere around 28-29 degree. So what is daily temperature range over here? That is hardly of 10 degrees Celsius. That means maximum temperature minus minimum temperature. That will give you daily temperature range. So that is around 10 degrees Celsius. Now instead of Mumbai, let us switch over to the first planet, the first known planet in the solar system, that is towards sun side, that is Mercury. Mercury is having very rare atmosphere. Actually, I should say no atmosphere, but instead of that, I am using some positive word. Very rare atmosphere is there for Mercury. If you check out the side of Mercury that faces towards sun, and side of Mercury that is in the dark, that means daytime and nighttime of Mercury, you will find the temperature difference is more than 100 degrees Celsius. You can find out the maximum temperature possible on Mercury on the side which faces towards sun. It is plus 200 plus, whereas minus side it is going far below freezing. So I am saying 100 plus, but actually it is more than 200 plus. So this is because Mercury is having very rare atmosphere. Now if you are going to moon, say I am not considering now Venus in between, we are considering directly moon, because moon is, we can consider identical to almost Mercury, because moon is also having very rare atmosphere. No doubt moon is there in orbit of earth, that means much more away, average distance 15 crore kilometer away from sun. But when we are going to moon, we will get the daytime temperature is very high, whereas nighttime temperature is very low. Difference more than 100 degrees Celsius straight away. But same case should be there on earth, but this is not happening. So the reason is that earth is having adequate atmosphere. Now go to Venus. If you are going to Venus, imaginary, you will find that temperature is very high on Venus. Actually, Venus is second planet from Sun, but its temperature is very, very high as compared to Mercury. The reason is that it possesses comparatively dense atmosphere, and therefore temperature of Venus is very high. Now what happened to Earth after this minimum knowledge? Now I am focusing on Earth. On Earth, the temperature, daytime temperature and nighttime temperature is not having much of the difference. Like I explained that 100 degree, 200 degree, like that difference is not observed on Earth. Maximum daily temperature range, you are aware of this word daily temperature range, that is maximum temperature minus minimum temperature, that occurs in Sahara Desert, the African desert. In northern Africa, the name of nation is Libya, where you will get maximum temperature range on Earth, but that is also not going to 100 degrees Celsius. The reason is that Earth possesses atmosphere. So what happens during daytime? Land is getting heated. You can ask question, why? The reason is that whatever the solar radiations they are reaching to Earth's surface, yeah, you are aware of insolation. So that insolation, that means whatever the amount of radiations reaching to Earth's surface, part is reflected by upper part of atmosphere, clouds, and part is absorbed by atmosphere, and then whatever the radiations they are reaching to Earth's surface, they are visible radiation. You can again ask question, why visible radiation? Because sun is visible, moon is visible from Earth's surface. That means their radiations are reaching to Earth's surface. Therefore, they are visible. And so these visible radiations are coming to the Earth's surface, whereas they get absorbed by Earth's surface, whether it is water or land mass. Part of that is absorbed. Always keep in mind, wherever radiations are falling on any surface, part of that is absorbed, part is reflected, and part is transmitted also. Now it is not the case that throughout the earth is not opaque and radiations are transmitted, but in certain part of water, say for example till 100 fathom, that means till 600 feet, the radiations are transmitting out. Whereas on landmass also little bit, but transmission that is there, and then it is absorbed. Visible radiations are absorbed, whereas that means the surface is getting heated. Depending upon the color of surface, radiations are absorbed. Say for example, if soil color is black, dark color or blackish color, then obviously maximum radiations are absorbed. If surface is white, then maximum radiations are reflected back. Absorption is less. If absorption is more, that energy, that is light energy, that is converted into heat energy. Now, when I am talking heat, there are also radiations. They are called as heat radiation in common language. In scientific language, we can call them infrared radiations. They are not visible by human eye. If you have mechanism, infrared camera, or that is called as thermal vision camera, then these infrared radiations are visible. These infrared radiations start emitting out from surface. So, input is of visible. I am not talking only visible. Keep in mind, ultraviolet radiations are also coming to the surface. Okay, don't be under impression that all ultraviolet radiations are absorbed by ozone layer. Only specific range of ultraviolet radiation they are absorbed by this ozone layer, whereas other ultraviolet radiations can reach till surface of the soil. Anyway, so that ultraviolet or visible radiations are absorbed, whereas land is radiating out. That means it is now after heating, it is giving out radiations. They are called as infrared radiations. Now these infrared radiations are absorbed. Infrared is also a variety of wavelength and frequencies like that. Out of that, the maximum infrared radiations, they are absorbed by certain gases. For example, water vapors, carbon dioxide and methane gas. They get absorbed, and because of that, heat actually should go back to space. That is not going. It is retained for a certain time by atmosphere, and that's why you'll find that during summer also, just when night starts, particularly at evening or early phase of night, you are not getting that cold feature. It is having usually high temperature because these radiations are absorbed by this carbon dioxide, water vapor and methane gas. As a result, we are getting a comparatively high temperature. Slowly these gases are radiating out this heat, and that's why in late night temperatures start falling. Till next morning, when sunrays again start coming, we are getting again heating up of the soil. So this is the cycle, and that's why we are getting uniform temperature. So this is called as greenhouse effect. Why greenhouse? Because for agricultural purpose, greenhouses are set up where they are made up of glass covering. These visible radiations can enter through glass, but infrared radiations are not able to go away from glass very easily. And that's why it is found that outside the greenhouse temperature is less. When you enter in greenhouse, particularly after sunlight enters in that, then you will find that inside the greenhouse temperature is rising. Or what is the more common example, because everybody is not aware of greenhouse, and therefore a common example we can call it as car effect. Now in old days, car were having very small windshield, that is the screen in front of driver. You can check out car that is Premier Padmini. Now almost it is considered under vintage car. It is having not that thickness. Okay, but then onwards, whatever the cars are there, you can check out the windshield that is there in front of driver, that is having large surface area. It is slanted to make car more aerodynamic. But because of that slanting thing, when you park your car in the sunlight, direct sunlight, you will get that radiations are going inside. That is visible radiations. Usually, interior of car is in dark color. Now certain companies are providing cream color, pale yellow color, sometimes white color also. But usually the interior of car is of dark color. As a result, that radiations, visible radiations are absorbed and infrared radiations are produced, but they are not able to escape out through glass. And therefore, when you are parking your car in particularly summer season in sunlight and you are opening out that car, after some time you will get interior side is heated. This is, we can say, example of greenhouse effect. Actually, this greenhouse effect was observed in greenhouse, therefore name is given as greenhouse effect. Now, whether it is harmful, answer is no, not at all. The reason is that it is there to maintain uniformity in temperature. If greenhouse effect is not there, then you will find that daytime temperature is very high and nighttime temperature is very, very low. So that is the situation. So here we are getting, it is a boom. Okay, but now see the how scientists are projecting out this. Three gases I mentioned: water vapor, carbon dioxide and methane gas. They are basically absorbing this radiation, therefore they are called as greenhouse gases. Now, what is global warming? Over the period of 100 years, when we are maintaining out temperature worldwide, we found that temperature of the world, that is average temperature of the world, that is rising slowly. But yes, every year almost the temperature of Earth rises to a very little extent, but it is rising out. This phenomena is called as global warming. Okay, so greenhouse effect is separate phenomena, global warming is separate phenomena. Now, how they are connected? We have to find out why over 100 years temperature of Earth rising out. That is because of particularly after industrial revolution. You are aware that industrial revolution occurred in England, but after that it spread out in Western European countries and latter phase worldwide. Today also 50% fuel used in the world, that is coal, particularly anthracite, bituminous, lignite, all that. Out of that, anthracite is the best fuel considered under coal because anthracite contains maximum amount of carbon. But when we are burning out this, obviously carbon dioxide is produced, and that's why amount of carbon dioxide in atmosphere start rising out. You are aware that second fuel used, that is oil, petrol and all that. So they are also giving rise to amount of carbon dioxide. Then waste material, whatever they are, sometimes they are also burnt out. And they are also used as fuel for getting thermal electricity. And like that, tremendous energy is generated. This is the rising temperature. But along with that, carbon dioxide is also emitted. And this rising amount of carbon dioxide, we are calling it as carbon emission, or increasing amount of carbon dioxide in atmosphere start rising the temperature of Earth. It enhances greenhouse effect because one of the greenhouse gas is carbon dioxide, and that is getting absorbed, rise in the atmosphere, and that is absorbing solar radiations, that is converted into heat radiation, and because of that temperature rises. This is called as global warming because of greenhouse effect. All right. What will be the impact of this greenhouse effect? Or rather, what is the impact on this greenhouse effect? Number one, because of this rising temperature, slowly all ice from world will start melting out. If temperature rises in this speed, they say. And then they calculate if all ice from Himalayan region, from other mountain, that is snow covered mountains, and from Antarctica, if start melting out, then sea level will rise. As a result, the islands, they are there in Pacific Ocean, they are there in Indian Ocean, wherever, they are going to get submerged. Many part of that islands, they are going to get submerged. Coastal areas, though, are very low level. Say for example, Bangladesh, it's very, very flat and almost horizontal and almost to the sea level. So like that areas, they are going to submerge under the ocean. So like that things they are explaining. Okay, so I am now explaining the facts. What is greenhouse effect? How it is recorded? What is connection of greenhouse effect with global warming? And now we are going to ask questions, and you have to find out the answers. Now certain questions on this greenhouse effect data. According to biology, agricultural man was developed on Earth some 10,000 years ago. Let us assume, 10,000 years ago. So, if at all, if human being is responsible for rising temperature of Earth, then whatever the rising temperature of Earth within past 10,000 years, that should be credited to human being. What is prior to that? I am taking you back, even prior to birth of first humanoid, Ramapithecus. Even prior to that, you'll find that Earth, at least whatever the geographical data we are getting, geological data rather, that shows that minimum 4 ice ages were there on Earth. Minimum 4 ice ages were there on Earth. When Ice Age began, it was having period of say million of years we spent in under Ice Age. We means Earth spent under Ice Age. Even In the history of man, around 00 AD, around plus minus here and there, it was small ice age. Nearly lasted for 400 years. That's why they called it as small ice age. So ice age was there around 00 AD, around plus minus. Prior to that, 4 ice ages, huge ice ages were there. That is the geological data. Now, certain questions in mind. First ice age was there. That means prior to that, temperatures start declining out. Then it was ice age. During ice age, maximum portion of earth was covered by ice. Now, that ice age went out, disappeared. That means temperature of earth must have started rising out. Then only ice age can disappear. Who is responsible for that rise in temperature? So global warming was there when life was not there on earth. Human life was not there on earth. Global warming was there. Because of that, earth came out of first ice age. Then temperature, everything was regularized. Then again it entered in second ice age. That means global cooling started. Again global warming, again global cooling. So like that, incidents must have appeared on earth. And therefore, can you answer this question that how only human beings are responsible for global warming? What today we are observing. I am not denying global warming, but I am giving evidences of global warming in the past where human beings were not present and still global warming was there. You are aware that Antarctica continent was not there where today it is. There is continental drift theory, tectonic plate theory, and whatever the observed data. Accordingly, Antarctica continent was there near to equator, where life was flourished there. Very good biodiversity was there on Antarctica. Actually, at that time, it should be called as Equatoria, because it was there on equator or nearby equator. And then it started moving towards South Pole. And the name is there opposite of Arctic. Arctic is towards north. Opposite of Arctic, that is anti-Arctic. So it is called as Antarctica. Ice is accumulating over Antarctica. Years after years. For so many thousand years, ice is accumulating on Antarctica. The biggest problem on Antarctica is ice is not melting out. Yeah, they are showing you video that ice from Antarctica is melting. See, this is because of all global warming. No, it is a regular course. When Antarctica is there in winter season, that means in month of June, they are facing out winter. And in month of December, they are facing out summer, December onwards. You are aware of that geographical incident. Because of that, when summer begins, certain coastal ice is going to melt. And the question is that, why ice is there accumulating on Antarctica over years, is not melting out in interior parts of Antarctica? It is said that several 100 meters layers of ice, they are accumulated over Antarctica. You are aware of the 3 stages of water, that is gaseous phase, liquid and solid, that is ice. But they say that because of constant pressurization of ice, the 4th, that is 3rd solid stage, is modified into something different, allotrope of ice over Antarctica. This is the situation. That means every year ice is not melting out interior part. That means ice is accumulating over Antarctica, and therefore sea level should go down. And why we are saying that sea level is rising up? You are getting my point? So we are saying that sea level is rising up. Is it the case? And then here, the next question, that is how altitude of particular area is measured. Whether that altitude is measured from what point on earth we are considering as standard. You are aware that altitude we are measuring from sea level only. Other than Dead Sea, actually Dead Sea is a lake. No doubt we are calling it as sea, but it is a lake. But everywhere we are considering, apart from Dead Sea, we are considering that sea level should be considered as standard to measure the altitude. When we are measuring out altitude of area from sea level, what is the guarantee sea level is constant? Whether sea level is going down, question is there. You can check out. We don't have any standard point to measure, because in geography we have another concept, that is block displacement are going on. This is either horizontal displacements of block or vertical displacements of block. For example, coastal line of India, that is developed because of vertical block displacement. That means today, wherever Mumbai is there, that is at coastal line, it was under the sea, and then it came out of the sea. All these coastal parts, they came out of sea according to geography. Alright. According to epical story, in epics it is mentioned that Lord Parshuram displaced out sea from this coastal line and land is formed. So this is most probably the vertical displacement of land. That means land is coming out of sea, or sea level is going down. Maybe possible water accumulated over Antarctica for years in form of ice, and sea level goes down. Question is there. So whether it is vertical displacement or sea level is going down. In coastal area, there is a place called as Guhagar of Maharashtra, western coastal area. Guha, that means cave. Agar means bunch. We can consider go down like that. One scientist explored out area, because name is Guhagar, but no cave is found nearby or in that city. But in nearby hill area, he got caves. And then we got knowledge that these caves were used by certain earlier forms of man. Very old caves they found. The caves were at that time when caves formed or they were using, they were on the seashore. That means water was there in front of cave at that time. But now they are nearly 200 feet above the sea level. This is one more evidence we can say that whether sea is going down or land is coming up. So this is another question that is also we had to ask. And so, global warming is really taking place or something else is going on. Now next question, rising amount of carbon dioxide. Have you tested, whatever the data is given obviously, what is the amount of carbon dioxide in atmosphere? We are aware that carbon dioxide is highly soluble in water. That's why the life is possible under the ocean, because whatever the carbon dioxide is absorbed in water, that carbon dioxide is dissolved, that is available for phytoplanktons. They can carry out photosynthesis on basis of that carbon dioxide only. And then the question is there that whatever the extra carbon dioxide is produced, that can be absorbed by surface of water. You are aware 2/3 of surface of earth is covered by land, remaining 2/3 of surface of earth is covered by water, remaining only land. And therefore we are aware that large surface of fresh water as well as saline, marine water, both are there. And therefore the extra carbon dioxide will get absorbed. So here there is question of rising amount of carbon dioxide. Think over it, try to find out answer of this. Another biological evidence, if you are studying out biology in detail, we are getting when we are discussing about photosynthesis. Say why I am focusing on photosynthesis, because this is the process where carbon dioxide is trapped. Carbon dioxide is converted into energy rich molecule, that is glucose, that is simple sugar, C6H12O6. The process is called as photosynthesis. Two mechanisms are common. One mechanism is called as C3 mechanism and one mechanism is called as C4 mechanism. You can find out these mechanisms on our channel only. Biology lectures are uploaded there. You will get photosynthesis lecture. There you will get this mechanism. So C3 mechanism and C4 mechanism. What happened at C4 mechanism? C4 mechanism is taking place where scarcity of carbon dioxide is there. Because ultimately photosynthesis is combination of carbon dioxide and water. Water is, we are calling it photolysis. Light lysis breakdown. With help of with help of light and enzymic activity, water is break down into H plus and OH minus ion. This oxygen is exploited from OH minus ion combination. Four hydroxyl ions are combining together, and we are getting 2 water molecule and 1 molecule of oxygen, O2, and O2 is released in atmosphere, whereas carbon is trapped in that process, and we are getting C6H12O6. Now see, carbon dioxide is essential for this photosynthesis mechanism, that is life forming, and plants are having deficiency of carbon dioxide, and therefore a necklace mechanism is taking place in plant, particularly when we are discussing about C4 mechanism. The central cell is there to carry out photosynthesis, whereas the necklace like the cells which are surrounding that central part, these cells are absorbing carbon dioxide from atmosphere, and that carbon dioxide is transferred to central cell. Getting idea? And this way carbon dioxide is harvested and served to the main cell where photosynthesis is taking place. Usually monocotyledon plants, that means the seeds of that plant, they are not divided into 2 parts. In Hindi we call dal. Dal is not forming. Dicotyledon plants, they are eligible to give dal. Whereas here we are not getting this. So rice, wheat, maize, sugar cane, all these examples of monocotyledon seeds where this C4 mechanism is taking place, and that's why they are able to produce rich amount of glucose, or say that is monosaccharide, disaccharide, oligosaccharide, whatever that they are produced, and that is the reason that they are harvesting out carbon dioxide. So these plants are having problem of carbon dioxide. They are harvesting out carbon dioxide, and we are worrying about rising level of carbon dioxide. Think over it, try to find out answer. Thanks for observing this video.